New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is JLS from Knick Of Time Show here, give you that Knicks talk just in Knick of Time. And I ain't gonna do the music today, but I'm gonna just go straight to it and introduce you to my guy with the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. Tough loss tonight, man. Tough loss.
Yeah, Knicks lose in overtime to the Toronto Raptors. A close one, was it 121 to 123? But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna start off with the bruh pick. All right, bruh pick of the day. Matter of fact, Ryan, whose man's is this other day? Once again, goes to ref Jeff Foster. All right,
bruh.
All right, listen. I've had a beef with this ref for years. I'm gonna say, Ryan, remember when we doing the KOT show and Courtney Lee got a tech for taunting a rookie with like 2 seconds left, and we were down by it was a tied or something. We were tied or we're down by one. The ref Jeff Foster calls a tech on Courtney Lee, sends the other team to the foul line, and they win by a point. Do you remember that, bull?
Yeah, how can I forget?
Yeah, for those who don't know, we've been doing this KOT stuff for a very long time, all right? I'm talking about when Courtney Lee was on the team, okay? So, I don't know what's going on. The first half of the game, the Raptors have 18 fouls at halftime. Time to 9. Brunson's getting pushed around like a ragdoll. Randall's getting smacked around. We're getting ticky-tack fouls all day long. Quickly's in foul trouble from Rip. He's hardly able to play because of it. RJ Barrett, to send the game to overtime, goes down Broadway, bangs it on Scotty Barnes' head, gets hacked, mugged, tackled, call it whatever you wanted. I don't know what we have to do to get a foul, but that was a foul. We did not get the benefit of that once again. The 51 point Siakam game that happened, it was the same mess. Why are the Raptors being treated like the whole team is filled with freaking John Morant? I don't get it. I don't get what we have to do to get a foul call. And there's other things that happened in this game that caused the reason to lose. But I just want to start out by saying our team played last night. I'm happy the way we competed. We were in this game. We fought very hard. There was no let up. There were some mental mistakes for sure. We gotta hit freaking free throws. But man, it's really hard to overcome a game like this where it just seems the refs are so obviously one-sided. And we end the game with only trailing 35 fouls to 41. But man, we really had to muck up the game to get back into it. I'm just starting off the show like that. What do you have to say,
Ron? Yeah, the refs definitely played a role in how the game ended up. I do agree on that Barrett dunk. That definitely should have been a foul on Barnes because he definitely did hack Barrett on that dunk. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, because with NBA referees, a lot of times they let a lot of things go, especially when it's late game situations. They pretty much allow players to play it out rather than wanting to call a foul and have the game be decided on free throws a lot of times. I think that's what happened in the case of RJ Barrett. I just think that, they saw RJ Barrett drive to the basket, get a dunk, tie the game. And, sometimes refs don't want to really influence late game situations, so they just let that go. But in reality, when a foul is there, you have to call that foul in reality. So, but besides that, I think the major reason why the Knicks lost today was the second chance points by the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
The Knicks could not keep them off the offensive boards. I mean, Scott Barnes by himself had 6 offensive rebounds, which is crazy. And I think the Raptors ended up getting, I don't know the exact number, but I know at one point in the game, I think it was in overtime, they had 22 second chance points. And if you're giving up that many second chance points to the opposition, it's going to be really tough for you to win that game. So that's one of the reasons why the Knicks lost today. And again, another thing is, we've already discussed this already. With the Raptors, are the Raptors a good team this season? No. But the way the Raptors roster is set up, they have a bunch of guys, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" with length. Even at times, the Raptors played a lineup with guys all 6'7", 6'8". That was their whole freaking starting lineup, and then they went into a zone. And that pretty much like took the Knicks out of their game in the second quarter, which, I mean, I don't know why. Like, I understand why the Knicks have trouble with that zone, but at the same time, it's like you have a guy in Hardenstein playing at that time where you know that he's a big that can pass the ball, and to break a zone, you have to have somebody within the middle of that zone that you can pass the ball to. Usually that guy's a good passer, and then when the zone collapses on him in the middle, then he can pick out who to pass it to on the perimeter for open shots. And the Knicks weren't doing that. That was part of the reason why Toronto built that 8-10 point lead in the second quarter. You know, I did see that the Knicks did try to make an adjustment later in that quarter where Hardenstein started to, you know, get into the middle of the zone, but the Knicks really didn't utilize it regardless. But yeah, I think those are the main points that I want to point to as to why the Knicks ended up losing this game.
That second quarter was a big reason why we definitely fell behind. RJ Barrett, first of all, gunshots from right? 32 points on the night. 44% from the field, 10-11 from the free throw line. Free throw shots are important. I'm gonna just start off by saying that free throw shots are important. But when it comes to the bench mob and the second unit, once again, it seemed like, you know, when they did go zone, RJ was the one guy who was kind of left open. The process happened. We passed the ball around. RJ was left open, and he claimed a lot of wide open threes. He got to the line and got to the hole and couldn't finish. I felt like RJ was a big reason why that second quarter happened the way it did. Even like the step back three, when he was kind of being doubled in the zone, I didn't like that decision at all. I felt like the process of even breaking that zone just wasn't good, which flat out wasn't good altogether. You know what I mean? It seems like the Knicks were, you know, they did I felt like the Knicks kind of staggered their minutes, the bench minutes more in the fourth quarter than the second. The second they go more McBride and all those guys, and in the fourth they didn't really do that. They kind of sat JB a little bit early, and then staggered JB's minute with the bench with RJ, and it looked a lot better. I don't know, Tibbs should look at that process a little bit more and decide to do that in the second quarter and the fourth quarter, or do you just keep going with RJ and IQ and hope they get it together because they are the future of this team? But I do feel like, you know, that was a big part of why the collapse happened. But on the flip side, RJ Barrett really woke up today, ended up taking advantage of mismatches, posting Van Fleet in the paint, getting to the hole. He really started to operate well in that 5-6 foot area with the short mid floaters, and he had a great game, 10-11 from the field, and of course the game tying overtime dunk that should have been a game winner at the foul line from RJ Barrett.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, because I see some comments in the chat where people are kind of like, especially from Jason, you know, saying that Hardenstein is a bum and that he's not the answer. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just basing it on who was on the court at the time. And we all know Hardenstein is a good passer. And usually if you want to break a zone down, you have a big in the middle who's a good passer and have the zone collapse on him. And then he can pick out who to pass it to for open shots on the perimeter. if Julius Randle was on the court at the time when they were playing that zone, then I would be like, yeah, Julius Randle should be in the middle of that zone. You pass to Julius Randle, then have him make the decisions. I'm basing it on who's on the court at the time.
At the end of the day, listen, Hartenstein hasn't been what we wanted. He has been the bum, if you want to call it that. It's just, but at the same time, we already know there's certain players on this team who haven't been used correctly to their role. Hartenstein and OB have been those guys who we feel have not been used correctly. So I understand what Ryan is saying. But it is what it is, man. Crazy game. There's a lot of things that I definitely want to talk about. But salute to the chat. Shout out to Jason M. Shout out to Fritz Pudge NYC. Picks for Timmy. Listen, everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. Shout out to you. If you like the show so far, hit the like and subscribe button. And just brother Scott Foster, man. I can't stand that dude, dog. I can't stand this game and the first game that we played against Toronto was just abysmal. Abysmal. I hated the way it was reffed.
Yeah, and I think something else should be pointed out to as well, because, we have our group chats going, and, it's me, you, and Kathy in the chat talking, and, and Kathy wanted me to go at Scotty Barnes because I guess of the way he was talking trash in today's game. And there was a moment where, because these refs let a lot go. Let's be honest. Like, everybody was talking, everybody was chirping. The refs never called a technical on anybody. They just let them just go off with the mouth. There were times where I even thought Julius Randle had a technical or two, and they let that man talk, and they let him get away with a lot. But you know how refs were with taunting, they don't tolerate it. And usually when a player taunts somebody, they get a technical called on them. And I believe it was in overtime, when it was off an inbounds play, and Scotty Barnes was clearly talking trash to Grimes. He was clearly taunting Grimes, and there was no technical called.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe I'm a little bit old school. Trash talking is trash talking. That's the NBA to me, man. As long as you're not pointing the finger or the wagging thing after a dunk or whatever, it is what it is. He can say what we want. We should have showed it up. That's the way I see it. That's just me.
I know. I'm just pointing out the inconsistency of the refs. That's what I'm pointing out.
Did the refs give us a technical for trash talking?
No. I'm not saying the refs didn't give no technicals in this game. They let everybody trash talk, but I'm just saying that there's certain things that they say that the refs are supposed to, quote unquote, like, I guess, bring to attention more, or they're supposed to, like, I guess, like, put their hand down on it, or whatever the terminology you want to use for it. Mm-hmm. And one of those are taunting. And it was like there was so many people talking trash in this game. You didn't see the refs call no type of technicals whatsoever. And I'm just pointing out a moment where it was like, okay, you could have called a technical there because the player is clearly taunting another player, but yet, So I understand where, what this is like, what was a foul, what's not a foul in this game, because clearly things that the refs are supposed to really put their, put their fist down on. I can't even think of the terminology right now. They weren't doing it in this game.
The refs are all over the place this game, man. It was a horribly officiated game once again. It's funny. There's things tactically that I feel the Knicks did wrong, but at the end of the day, we had to beat the refs and ourselves and the Raptors. So I'm not. It's one of those things where I'm not superly pissed at the Knicks today, even though there's certain things I might want to change or tweak or something. And which kind of brings, and if you want to call in and talk, the number you can dial in 319-527-6241 if you have certain things to get off your chest. Call in 319-527-6241. All right. And you said, let's talk about these matchups, man. Well, shout out to Mitchell Robinson, who's been a staple for this team for a long time. He's usually a guy who's very dominant on the offensive board. He fought hard, had 5 offensive rebounds today. The Raptors know the scouting report. Every time the ball went up, there were 2 guys boxing out Mitch every single time. And he was still able to get away with 5 offensive rebounds and try to scrap from a defensive rebound standpoint. But the thing I really want to talk about is this matchup with Mitch versus Siakam was kind of problematic for us in the first quarter and in the overtime. And I think the Knicks, knowing that they're going small, they made a concerted effort to go to Mitch early, which I absolutely loved. Actually, that's something I actually suggested that we do the first time the Knicks played the Raptors and we lost. I saw Randall give Mitch 3 beautiful assists in that first quarter. But kind of ended up what happening is you having Mitch just defend on the perimeter for like 90% of the game, and that's not really a strength. Siakam is hitting very comfortable pull-up middies all first quarter. And then that overtime, yeah, Scotty Barnes out here looking like freaking Magic Johnson, all right? Like what is going on? My man is in the middle, backing RJ Barnes, subverting the court, and kicking it out to Siakam, and having Mitch having to hit the middle and then run out to the 3-point line. Like that's just too much to ask of for Mitch, who's a pretty decent point of attack defender in spaces, but for like a large chunks of time, I don't know, it's a little bit too much. And that's one of those things where I feel like maybe we should have made an adjustment and not have Mitch play Siakam and maybe have Randall play the 5 for a longer stretch or something. I don't know. But we were getting killed on the offensive boards too. So maybe that could be the thinking for the coach. Like, man, we have Mitch out of the game. We're already getting killed on the offensive boards. We'll get killed even more. So maybe it's a personal thing, and it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But, man, that little stretch, especially in overtime, where Mitch was and Randall was getting confused on who to close out for 3, it really hurt us.
Yeah, and I want to kind of, I guess, expound on that a little bit, because I agree. Because, for example, in overtime, with Mitch having to guard Siakam on the perimeter, and I feel like them keeping Mitch in the game for offensive rebounding didn't really matter, because that's the reason. I think that's the reason why the Raptors had so many offensive rebounds, because Mitch had to guard on the perimeter, so that takes him out the paint.
Yeah. So
with him out the paint, then Raptors can throw up shots, and then they can crash the boards, get the offensive rebounds, to get second chance points. But I've defended Thibs a lot this season, but I feel like part of the reason why the Knicks lost today is due to Thibs, because keeping Mitch out there to guard Siakam on the perimeter was not productive for the Knicks. Like, them leaving Mitch out there, it led to 2 Anunoby 3s from the corner in overtime, just because Mitch had to run out to Siakam and guard him on the perimeter. Then from that point, Knicks' rotations were just off. And then once he passed the ball around to Anunoby on the wing, on the corner for 3, he was able to knock down 2 threes in overtime. Whereas if you had somebody out there to guard Siakam that is more of a perimeter defender, like even if not Randall, even if you decide to put Sims in the game where Sims is a better perimeter defender than Mitch,
right?
At least have somebody out there that can defend Siakam on the perimeter, so that the Knicks' rotations would not break up like that, and they'd be more able to defend the 3.
Totally.
So that you have to put on Thibs, because sometimes I know Thibs want to stick to his 9-man rotation, and he's pretty like hell-bent on that, but sometimes you need to make adjustments that is not your norm.
Yeah.
To adjust to to adjust to what the other team is doing and the lineup that the other team has out there.
Right, and that's the flexibility factor that we talk about often here, and the adjustment factor that you kind of have to you have to just look at the tools in your belt and say, this isn't working today. Let me try this. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, not sometimes, a lot of times, that's not exactly what happens for Thibs. And this might have been one of those games where we need to see a little bit more adjustments, especially in overtime. But salute to the chat. Rough loss, man. Very rough loss. Shout out to Pudge. Shout out to Picksford Timmy. He says Randall stunted Ron twice. Yeah, he stunted Ron twice. I don't know if it was Randall or Mitch because they both look confused, but it could have been Randall. It definitely could have been Randall. Shout out to Dwayne Dennis. Just how many more games like this we have to sit and watch where we're winning and just need to close out, but can't do the poor execution down the stretch. Yeah. And this is one of those games where, man, listen, we got the dunk we got the dunk we wanted to bring the game to overtime. Jalen Brunson missed a layup. He missed a wide open 3 to win the game. We were still in this game. There are still certain tweaks I would like to make. At the end of the day, we gotta hit free throws, Ryan. It's Ryan. Julius Randle goes to the line, game 1 on the line. I already know what's gonna happen. Before he goes to the line, I go, he's gonna hit 1 for 2. Before he even goes to the line, I already know. 1 for 2. Scotty Barnes comes over there. He was sucking the whole time, calmly hits 2 3 throws to seal the game. And Jalen Brunson, once again, after going on this crazy free throw stretch, going like 10 for 10, 8 for 8. Once again, just does not hit the free throw to win the winning. Like if Brunson and Randall hit the free throws, there is no overtime. The game is over. So it is, man. It is what it is. But let's get to the phone lines. Shout out to man Jason M who's calling in, man. Jason, what you got to say, bro? What you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is just a really, 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 really frustrating game.
Yeah.
I don't really got much to say about it. I really am starting to hate the Raptors. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like Siakam is literally starting to become like I'm starting to feel the way I feel about James Harden, about Siakam. Just because he just gets so many stupid foul calls and he throws his elbows and whines to the stage.
Seriously. He flops. I'm starting to notice how much he flops for calls. It's crazy.
It's crazy. That game, it was frustrating, but to be honest, coming into the game, I thought the Knicks were going to lose, but that's because it was a back-to-back.
Right.
Also, what did they do in scheduling 2 afternoon games back-to-back? I've never seen that before. Like, it's hard to get up for an afternoon game as is. Back-to-back, especially when the other team had rest.
Yeah.
So we play them on Sunday, and they're going to be coming off of a back-to-back on Sunday. So let's see how they play when they're the ones that don't have the rest.
I agree.
True.
So the other thing I'll say is, one thing, and it's not so much that I disagree with you guys. I just want to talk about, I actually was impressed with Mitchell Robinson's game because he was guarding a wing pretty much the whole game. And for the most part, he didn't really look out of place. Yes, there's a few plays where his rotation might have been a little off, but Siakam didn't have a great game other than when the refs bailed him out. So, I always thought that Mitch would be a player who, in the playoffs, he wouldn't get played off the court because he could guard wings too, or at least big wings. So I thought from like a perspective, I was impressed that he didn't look out of sorts guarding Siakam. Because in theory, you would think that's a mismatch.
Yeah.
I'll say this. In the first quarter, Siakam, I feel like Siakam was kind of cooking us in the mid-range and there was not a resistance. I applauded Mitch's effort. I'll watch it again, but to me, it seemed like as the game rolled on, it's not that Siakam didn't get open looks. It's just that he missed them. That's what I saw from my own eyes. But also, freaking Fred VanVleet was cooking so much that he didn't really have to go back to Siakam until like the overtime when he was left open. That's what I saw. Maybe you saw something different, but that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, I just think he played pretty good. I'm not saying he shut him down or nothing, but
right.
It wasn't part of the reason why I hate playing the Raptors is because they don't play with a real center. So I'm like, damn, Mitch is gonna have to guard somebody in the perimeter. He's gonna get destroyed. And I don't think he got destroyed. That's all I'm saying. I think he actually held his own. I think he actually played pretty good defense. And it's the Raptors are a tough matchup, and I hate playing them
Me too.
And as much as we could say, oh, but the Knicks did this, the Raptors fans could say the same thing for the Raptors. If they did this, we would have easily won this game. So, it's just frustrating. Like, we actually hit way more free throws than them. And what's his name? Scotty Barnes missed a free throw that left them tie in the game. So
Yeah.
you can't just say, oh, the Knicks lost because we didn't hit free throws and they hit free throws. They missed free throws. Scotty Barnes missed 2 free throws in the end of the fourth because he missed a free throw earlier. He did hit those 2 free throws, but there was another free throw. The point is, there were mistakes on both sides. It's just really frustrating. I wish that 3 would have went in. It's heartbreaking. That's really all I got.
All right. I hear you. Salute to you. Don't completely. I mean, listen, we can miss free throws, but still, it's also when the free throws are happening, when the game is on the line and the team is on the comeback trail, you have to break momentum. I'm still in belief you're gonna have to hit those free throws. Those free throws really matter, and I still feel like those 2 free throws in the last minute or so hurt us. But overall, I hear what you're saying. Overall, I hear. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryan. You want to say something?
No, I was just saying that I do agree with Jason from the standpoint of it's not like Mitch did a terrible job today. He didn't do a terrible job. He did do a pretty good job. I mean, Siakam only shot 7 of 19 from the field, so it's not like Siakam killed us today, but at the same time, I felt like in overtime, then, the Raptors took advantage of the fact that Mitch had to come out to the perimeter to guard Siakam, and that pretty much just messed up Knicks rotations on the perimeter and led to like 2 OG 3-pointers, which pretty much helped the Raptors to seal the game in overtime. So I do agree with Jason with the fact that, overall, Mitch did do a good job. It's not like he did a terrible job on the perimeter today.
Right. I feel like we had a lot of problems just defending point of attack once again all night. Like I feel like a lot of their shots came off of we miss a shot, they run the ball down the court as fast as they can, collapse the defense, kick out, collapse the defense, kick out, collapse the I feel like I saw that same tape run over and over again for most of the time. And at the same time, we did a pretty good job mucking it up for a minute, getting a lot of offensive rebounds, and getting to the line that way. But we fell short. And like you said, it was a back-to-back. It was a back-to-back. Jalen Brunson already has problems with these guys. The last game he played pretty well. He gave us 26 and 8 on efficient scoring against the Raptors, and we ended up winning that game. Today I felt like the length bothered him a little bit more than the last game. There were times when they were sending 2 or 3 at him, and I felt like he should have moved the ball. But I can see the fatigue specifically on Jalen Brunson this game. When you go into the layup, when you go into the hole and you're missing layups, that's definitely, I feel like, a fatigue thing. But I also could feel like it's mental fatigue as well, because he was going to the hole and getting fouled repeatedly and not getting to the line. So I can see the physical fatigue of, playing a back-to-back, and the mental fatigue of repeatedly going to the line, getting fouled, and not getting the benefit of getting those free throws. Like, that can wear on you.
Yeah, most definitely. And even tonight, man, like, you look at the minute distribution. RJ Barrett played 49 minutes. Randall played 42 minutes. Mitch played 36. That's decent because we also went into overtime. Brunson played 43 minutes. Grimes played 39 minutes. And this is why I say, if the Knicks are going to make a move at the trade deadline, they have to go after some bench help, because you can't have these guys playing these kind of minutes and expect them to last throughout the season.
Yeah. This is a game where I wish Cam wasn't in the doghouse, or they pieced it up, or whatever happened with him and Tibbs. Because this is one of those games where you definitely needed like another long guy to help defend. Even if it's not Sims, because the way this team is built, we just need that. And you look at the minutes, we got 6 minutes from McBride, 11 minutes from Obi Toppin today. McBride, he still seemed to be struggling. He shot a floater today for the first time, and I felt like he shot like a fallback 3 that wasn't a good shot to me. His minutes are still looking to struggle, but like, once again, this is a team where you might struggle against, for real. But the last game, he had his best game as a Knick against the Raptors. He scored 9 points against his team the last game. Not so much this game. Obi Toppin actually didn't hate his minutes today. I didn't hate his minutes today. The second quarter, I felt like I liked his defense. I felt like he was active. And then in that fourth quarter, I think he did okay as well. I mean, he missed the little mid-range jumper, and he was a -3 on the night. But I didn't really hate Obi's minutes today. I didn't. He hit an open 3 and he did okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Obi was decent today. He finally got out on the break when Hardesty threw him that football pass down the court, and he was able to get that easy dunk. So it was good to see Obi, actually getting back out on the fast break to get easy baskets.
Yeah,
that was definitely a positive sign. And like I said, he did hit that free as well. So yeah, I would say because lately Obi hasn't been giving anything on the offensive end. And yeah, in the second quarter, he did give the Knicks a little bit of something. So I mean, if you want to point to a positive, I guess you can point to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish we could have had more bench minutes somewhere. We do need somebody to help out. Salute to the chat. If you want to call in, you already know what to do. Call in 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241 if you want to talk Knicks talk with you guys. The KOT show. I see Anna Gaming Network has a question. He says, what do y'all think about playing Rose instead of McBride? I think as much as McBride is struggling, I still feel like we have to keep pushing him out there because Rose is not in our future plans. There've been rumors that he's going to be traded. They're looking for a trade home for him. And because, McBride is pretty much more, he for our long-term success, we need McBride to develop. So we have to kind of like scrape through these rough patches and hope for the best. That's what I say.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with Jay. Like Rose would definitely be more productive on the offensive end. He would definitely give us more pop off the bench as well. It's just that, I think the Knicks are more bent on developing the youth and Derrick Rose, if we play Derrick Rose, then McBride is not going to get his minutes to develop. So that's why the Knicks are trying to find a home for Rose, somewhere that they could trade him to where it's going to benefit him as a player, but like I said, I still think that the Knicks do need to trade for a bench guy, more preferably a young wing that they could probably bring off the bench to provide some extra scoring so that Thibs doesn't stretch out his starting unit that much.
Word. I heard Jordan Clarkson's not signing that extension.
Yeah, he would definitely provide some scoring pop. I'll say that.
And he will flex on Scotty Barnes when he was talking smack to Grimes, talking about you ain't him. He would have definitely, he would have definitely throw the Dukes up because that's what Clarkson does. He throws the Dukes up. But man, our bench remains to be a problem on this team. I will say this: there was a portion in the game that I liked, and I hope Tibbs starts to do this more in the first and second half because I thought this move might have won us the game. There was a point in the third quarter. There was like about 3 minutes left, 3 minutes and 20 something seconds left. Jalen Brunson, Gary Trent Jr. goes in for like a fast break layup. Jalen Brunson didn't rush back on defense. Tibbs calls timeout. Emmanuel quickly is inserted in the game. It's tied at that point. Once Emmanuel quickly is inserted in the game, I think with Hart too. I think Hart might have been in the game too. The Knicks go on a little bit of a push. We started going from a tie game to up by 10, and that's with quickly kind of playing the lead guard role with Randall. So I do kind of like that look. And then Brunson was able to kind of stagger the minutes with the bench unit. So moving forward, Tibbs, I think we need to keep doing that, trying to find minutes that way where all of our starters aren't playing the entire third quarter like we routinely do and start to stagger their minutes. And so I like that. I definitely like that. Kind of also proves what I've been saying for a year or two, that Julius Randle and Emmanuel quickly work pretty damn well together offensively. Like both of those guys are able to create open shots for each other. So I like those minutes where we got that lead. Tele Alejandro says, what do we have to give up to acquire Clarkson? Whack Danny Ainge is a finesse guy. Dog, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That man was looking for first for Clarkson before. So I'm sure that's probably what it is at this point. He's probably looking for some first. For sure.
Yeah.
I might give him a protected first.
definitely a protected one. Not unprotected.
Not no unprotected. I probably give him a protected first. I'll probably do that. But yeah, Clarkson off that. That's a good point. How much is Clarkson looking for in the open market is also a question. With more playing time, the stats are inflated. He can probably command a little bit more money. So that's also a question. What will he command? We need money. We definitely need to, keep our books okay to re-sign quickly for sure and make some decisions in the summer. It might be easier once we move Fournier at some point, but that's definitely, I'm pretty sure the front office is looking down the road, looking at those type of situations. All right. I really got nothing else to say, man. I got nothing really else to say about this game, dog. All right. this game pissed me. This game pissed me off. Man.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same boat as you. Like, I ain't really got much else to say.
Yeah, man. But salute to the chat. I can read some comments so you can wrap it up that way. Lee said, just got home. What I miss? Lee, we said fire Tibbs.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Mr. Carlos NYC says, I want to trade for Anunoby. Shoot, me too. I want to trade for Anunoby too. I don't know if that's going to happen. The asking price is going to look crazy. All right. So, like, the guys that we want are held by the two grimiest, dirtiest, most fleecingest guys in the NBA. And Danny Ainge and Masai. Masai's already fleeced us already in the trade. Danny Ainge has that reputation. He hates our guts already. So it's not looking good for us. I'm just saying that. It's not looking good.
Facts. But I mean, there is a number of players off of Toronto that I would like on the Knicks, like OG, Siakam, Trent Jr. They do have some players that I think would fit the Knicks system pretty well. So
yep, Gary Trent, as we said, we always been a fan of Gary Trent. We would like any of those guys. Fritz is angling for Kuminga for Obi in the pick.
I'll take a chance at Kuminga.
I might. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't see any more calls, so I'm going to wrap it up, man. All right, Ryan G. Just let them know where they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. You can also find me at Sir G's Corner. You can also find me on Twitter at Ryan G KOT. And big up Big Blue for that playoff win. Let's go.
All right, New York doing it. It would be nice to have two New York teams in the playoffs at the end of their season. So shout out to Big Blue. New York, follow suit. Don't let us down. All right. Because, listen, man, we got some tough games coming up. And I feel like, we can hold off a lot of these teams that are under us. Because right now we're above the Pacers. We're above the Hawks. I feel like we're kind of better teams than those guys. But the Heat is that one team where I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't sleep on Jimmy Butler ever in my entire life. All right.
And that team always gives us issues too, man. That's the thing. Always give us when we face them.
Absolutely. I always, whenever we play the damn Heat, they always give us massive amounts of problems, and we have not played the Heat yet. So that means that's this second stretch of the season when the games matter even more. We're gonna be playing what 3 to 4 times. Yeah,
pretty much.
Whew, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be definitely rough. Hold on, let me look at the schedule real quick. What's the Knicks schedule looking like?
I know we have a tough stretch coming up. I know that much.
Yeah, we got the Hawks coming up. We got the Raptors after that. Then we have the Cavs, the Celtics, the Nets. Woo!
Yep.
The
Then
Lakers.
Lakers, Heat,
The Heat.
Clippers, 76ers.
Yeesh. The Magic is out here boboing. Black Victor's going crazy. The 76ers again.
Jazz, Nets.
You called in, bro. Listen, right? All those games before Valentine's Day, no love for the Knicks schedule makers. All right,
Nah.
putting us through the ringer. So, listen, I need to win some of these games. These Raptor games, we have to get that one back. The Wizards
Facts.
game, we have to get that back. Hawks, we got to cook the birds for sure. The Celtics, Nets, that's gonna be a rough one. The Lakers, LeBron, man.
The
Who
thing with the
the
Lakers,
hell- Huh?
no, I was saying the thing with the Lakers is that it's not that they're a great team, but at the same time, you cannot sleep on them. Just for the simple fact they got LeBron, Westbrook. I think AD might be healthy by then. Who knows? But yeah, you can't sleep on that team. It's not an easy win.
It's a weird matchup problem once again. You looking at LeBron and you're going, okay, maybe Randall should be guarding him because there's the physicality of both those guys. But LeBron is still a nightmare because LeBron's IQ is gonna have Randall in trouble off rip, even if they do match up physically. You know what I mean? And then, like you said, Westbrook off the bench. Who do we have to contend with Westbrook's speed and physicality off the bench? It's rough.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's not that they're his greatest team. There's great teams and then there's matchup problems. Raptors, Lakers, to me, looking like matchup problems at certain positions, and we gotta be able to kind of litigate that. Oh, but it's gonna be interesting. I kind of want it though. I want it. I want to see what this team does. I want to see how we respond. I want to see how if Brunson and these guys rise to the occasion. So I'm kind of looking forward to it a little bit. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah, like I think if the Knicks can escape at least 500 out of those games, I would say that's a pretty good result.
Exactly. Just just stay around 500 to be good to go. All right, cool. Once again, that is our show. Had another nice little stint afterwards. I'm gonna let you know where you find us. All right, so get those snapbacks. All right, get the black and white and blue and orange snapbacks at thenickoftimeshow.com. All you gotta do is go to thenickoftimeshow.com and hit the button that says catalog, and you'll see all our merch. You'll see our snapbacks. You'll see our whose man's is this tee, and you'll see other merch as well. We still gotta work on that Tisby Tibbin tee. We gotta work on Tisby Tibbin. All right. Also go to the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram and Facebook as well if you want to follow us on the social medias. And listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to KOT, or wherever you listen to podcasts, you can listen to KOT. And also shout out to Fubu TV. I didn't shout them out earlier because I just wanted to get to it. Shout out to FubuTV.com. If you want to watch MSG for free for 7 days, go to FubuTV.com/KOT to watch MSG and the Knicks for free for 7 days. And if you decide to keep it, KOT gets a little piece of that. And you will help us out. So shout out to you guys. Hold on, super chat. You got a super chat, guys. Oh Lord, I'm switching screens, but I got a peep of what it said already.
Was this a Fire Thibs game from Lee Escobedo, our fellow co-host on the Knick of Time show?
Was this a Fire Tibbs game? No.
Thibs was not solely responsible for the Knicks' loss tonight. So no, Lee. Based on the season as a whole, definitely not a Fire Thibs game.
You can't say Lee does it. You can't say Tibbs does a good job, but he needs to tweak something and then say fire him right afterwards. This is just weird, right? You can't grade. Didn't you grade him a B? I can't grade him a B and then fire him. Fire Brunt? No, we're not.
Definitely did have Fire Brunson game, even though I did think he was a bit shot happy today, but it's not a Fire Brunson game either.
It's not a Fire Brunson game either. Yeah, Lee, new rule. You can't grade a coach a B and then say fire him the same day. All right? It's a little contradictory. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's kind of sending mixed messages. I'm just saying.
Like I don't know how that works. Like, how do you give a coach a good grade, and then in the same breath be like, yeah, we should fire him though?
I was watching shout out to Intro the Knicks verse. I was watching the show, gave a B, came on the show, said fire him the same day. I was like, son. Oh man. Well, shout out to Lee who gave the $3 super chat just to ask that question. All right. That is our show. And as I like to say, as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
These refs are a mess, man. There's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's a show. We out of here, man.
Peace.
York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.